And we're going live. So I hope this worked. Yes, it looks like it's
Okay.
doing better. I just
Good.
did one that didn't work, so hopefully it's
Oh
gonna
no.
be right in. I know, but I did get the recording, so we'll put it up. But okay, so I am so excited to be here with you today, and we hope it's working on Facebook too. But my experience has been that I get to hear myself say all that stuff on Facebook. So we're going to say that it's working. It looks like it is.
Good.
Okay, so I have with me today, Linda Bergstrom, and she has 3 years ago, she decided to make one of her longtime dreams come true, becoming a small fiber farm. So they moved out here to Bluffdale, where I live. They got an acre of land, and they've loved every minute of being here. So Linda is an art teacher. She is a crafter. She's a weaver. She's a spinner and an animal lover. And just really wanted to come into learning how to do all the things with the curiosity that she had about figuring out fibers and like where they came from all the way back into it. And so she's a part of Bergstrom Farms, and you can find them also here on Facebook if you want to know more about what she's doing there, which is absolutely amazing. But I met Linda because she moved out here about the same time that I did. And so we were kind of the new girls on the block. And and when I told her about the I Am a Woman of Faith project and that I wanted to, what I wanted to do with it, she was so supportive and so like, that's going to be so amazing. And I really want to be a part of it. And so I'm so excited after a couple of years of working on this project to be able to launch it out to the public. And I wanted to have Linda come and talk a little bit about her experience as she kind of went through that with us, and also just kind of help me to, I guess, launch it and explain to you guys exactly what it is that we're doing here. So welcome, Linda. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate
Thanks for inviting me.
it. Yeah. So when we started the project, I remember you being very enthusiastic about it. And so can you just talk a little bit about that?
You know, I just felt like it was something that hit me at a time when I really needed it. But I also feel like there's never a time that we don't need it as women. I was recently, you know, it had been about maybe 2 years since my mom had died, and I was still struggling with all of that and how hard that is, and just dealing with not being with her and not having her as a daily part of my life. So I was really not able to find a lot of solace. But when you mentioned this, and when I understood what was happening and that there were these incredible affirmations that you could hear, and your voice is so beautiful on it, and it's so calming. And then when I first heard the affirmations, I was really surprised that it was all from one talk from President Nelson. So I think to me what it did is it tied in my belief in affirmations, which I have been doing with meditation and things like that for a lot of years, and positive affirmations for myself and for my family, and things that I would, intentions and things that I would do like that. But it also kind of tied in our prophet, President Nelson, and this great talk that he gave to women. So I don't think that's ever been done before. And I was really fascinated by it. And that's why it struck a chord with me, is that it seemed like I couldn't have found something better at the time for me to really get through, well, just life, but also what was still, a huge difficulty, for me. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So to just give a little more explanation about the program. So the talk that I chose was President Nelson's talk when he was Elder Nelson in 2015, A Plea to My Sisters. And that talk, he really, I mean, when I heard the talk, I was so touched by what he said. And I could really feel that call of how the Lord was asking us as sisters to step forward and be more. And I know for myself, just from habits of, kind of the way I was raised a little bit. And even like, as I went into my first marriage and then even into my second marriage, noticing my relationship with my husband, my relationship with the Lord, and how sometimes I would try to place the husband relationship in the place of the relationship with the Lord, and really rely on my husband to make a lot of decisions for me, whether they were spiritual or physical or like in our life or whatever, but just basically not showing up as a full partner to my husband. And when he gave that talk, I just felt that so much that, the Lord needs your voice. The Lord needs you to stand up and talk about these things. The Lord needs, women who are organized, who have executive ability, and he just goes on and on and on in the talk, which made it so easy to be able to turn those into affirmations. And I do have to say also that someone else had the idea. So I saw a copy of affirmations and I just took them and made them because I believe all affirmations should start with the words I am, because I think that's so powerful. And someone else had made some that were like, they'd kind of listed them out, but they weren't as fine as I wanted them to be. And so that was kind of inspiration. But yeah, just bringing that in. And so then would you mind telling a little bit about how we did the group and talking about that a little bit, just kind of what I
think that the thing I guess I hadn't ever really thought to do something like this. And now that we did it, I'm like, wow, this is something that women need. It was like a Zoom meeting, girlfriend group that we met once a week. And as I looked back through it, we did this for a long time. I don't know how many months did we do it, would you say?
Well, it was at least 21 weeks. I think it took us to get through all of it. And we did skip a few weeks because we had some conflicts and stuff. So it was like
at least 6 months. As I was looking back through our group me, and we did do it through group me. Sorry, I've always got fuzzies on me because of the animals, but so we did, that first weekend, I didn't know the people in the group except a few gals in our neighborhood and ward who had been invited, who kind of popped in and out, which was really fun. But what happened is it ended up being kind of a core group of us that were the same people every week. And I got to know them. I didn't know, your daughter, Maddie, really. I didn't know Deb White. There were just people I didn't know who their opinions and their beliefs and everything that they said became more and more important to me. And I began to look forward to that weekly interaction. I think about how isolated we are now. Some people still. I mean, I'm certainly getting out more. I can't say I'm isolated out here, but at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a lot of isolation, and I missed that. I missed that interaction, that weekly. That'd be like the perfect time. This is like the perfect time to get one of these groups together with your friends and say, okay, let's get this affirmation group going and this Women of Faith group going. Because we're struggling right now. I think people are struggling with a variety of different things. But I loved the setup of, I didn't feel guilty if I had to leave the group early. I'd say, okay, I've got an hour's worth of time and we can do it. A lot of times we'd be on our lunch hour in my car. I'd be in my car Zooming between meetings. At the time I was still teaching a lot. And so I'd pull over in a parking lot and do a Zoom meeting there. And it was a great way to have a lunch hour. It was a great way to, have a way to connect to your day. But I loved that setup, just like easy Zoom meeting. You dial in, You can drop out when you want. It was very low pressure. And I think that's what I like. I don't do well when things are like, you have to be here and you have to be
Yeah.
here at the time. And if you're not here, everyone's gonna be upset with you. And it just wasn't like that. It was so casual and so easy, but man, I looked forward to that. And if I missed a week, I was so sad, because I felt like something was going on that I was like,
You're
you
missing.
know, yeah, it's like FOMO, like fear
Right.
of missing out. I'm like, I really want to be with the group today.
Right.
And then the fun thing that I liked was that you could watch it over again. You know, I could go back and see that you had recorded it. But really, there's something special about being live with people. And you know, as our life gets less crazy, you could do it not on a Zoom meeting, but you could certainly do it with a group of friends, like you do a book club. I think that would be super awesome too. I just feel like interaction within women's groups is really vital. And as we're not doing Relief Society, we're not doing Relief Society activities. I think this kind of stuff is super vital. So
I so agree with that. And I feel like also that, you know, we sometimes we have, I don't know, so just because it was just a few of us that ended up being there, maybe 6 or 7 that actually ended up in the kind of core group that were coming every week. And we had all ages, which was so fun too, because we had grandmas and we had brand new moms and first time pregnant girls. And I mean, just all of these ages that would come and join with us. And it was so beautiful to hear from all of the voices and perspectives and the fresh faith and the experienced faith, and just it was just amazing. And so the reason we're talking today is because I wanted to be able to share just a little bit of the flavor of that. But I'll tell you what we're going to be doing, and then I'll tell you also what we're going to be what you can do yourself, because you don't have to do it with us. But we would love it if you follow us and kind of keep up that way. But really the power in it is connecting with your own little group of your best friends and the ones that you want to get with. And then maybe a few others of other, you know, some of your best friends that they want to bring in that you might not know at all, which is what Linda referred to, because she didn't know a lot of my my other friends, and I did that. So if you're the one that's looking at this and you're saying, I think this is amazing, and I want to be a part of, you know, something like this, and I kind of want to put this together, then make a list of 3 or 4 friends, you know, just send them a quick text and, you know, send them to the website and say, hey, do you want to put a group together with this? If you go into the resources page of the website, you can actually click on take the course. It's totally free. It's on, I housed it on the Thinkific platform, and you just go in, enroll for free, and then you guys just go through and do it. I did divide it into part 1, part 2, and part 3, because it was so long for us to keep doing it. And we did love it. But it felt like if you're going to start something and you know it's going to take you 6 months, are you less likely to start?
Exactly.
So we divided it down into, like, we talk about 3 a week, and we would never really get all the way talked about all 3, but it gives you, you know, some reflection, some ideas, some different resources and different things like that. And then, you know, in the Facebook group, then share some of your thoughts and the things that you've noticed, and those kind of things, you know, on there. We do have an Instagram page and a YouTube channel as well, where this recording will be, that kind of stuff. So you can kind of follow us there as well. But then for what we're going to be doing on this end, and what this is the first one of, is I'll post up into the blog, I'll put up the 3 affirmations for the week, and they might come on 3 different days, and they might kind of all come together. It just kind of depends on how it goes for me. But then sometime during the week, and we'll probably get more firm on when that time is, but it might be Thursday at 10:30. It could happen that this is going to be the time for it. I'll jump on with someone who either has done it with us or has an interest in the project, and just talk about those 3 affirmations. And so there's just a little bit more of that conversation, maybe to kind of kickstart your conversations, if that's helpful, or, you know, just to be there as just another resource.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really very excited about it. So, so Linda, some of the things that we did, we always had like in the resources or the ideas or different things like that. I would say like, do an art project or do something like that. So did you have something that you wanted to show? Because Linda's an art teacher. She's very art.
So I did two things that I really loved. I'm not a good journaler at all, and but I always have this vision that I could be, and that could be important to me. So I went to Michael's and I got this really cool little journal, and I'll show it to you. And I was specifically looking for something that I could print the cards off and put the cards in.
Mm-hmm. And
so
I forgot to tell you, there's downloadable cards. So in case you don't know what we're talking about there.
Yeah, and I'll show a picture of it. I've got my journal right here.
Okay.
And so what I would try to do, and I have a really, really terrible handwriting, so I tried really hard I'm going to make it look like I can write nicely. I have terrible teacher handwriting is what I call it. And so I just thought I want it to be something pretty that I look at that doesn't stress me out, because, you know, I'm so kind of jumbly in my thoughts a lot. So I would just kind of try to pick and choose a few things that we talked about that week and write the important things down and kind of a goal. And let me flip this around. Let's see. So I tried to flip it. It didn't flip. One more time. Okay. So I got this kind of a cute journal at Michael's, and the reason I loved it is because it had like this little place for your pens and stuff. But this, I don't know what this is for. Maybe it's for business cards. I truly don't know. Yeah. But look how well these affirmations fit in there.
Yeah.
And I just loved that I could keep in there. I didn't print them all off, but I got most of them in. So then my Women of Faith affirmations. So I glued a bunch down too. Oh, I think what I did is I would glue the 3 down to the page, you know, of maybe the 3 we were talking about. So, you know, this is the week we talked about what does it mean to be distinct and different. Mm-hmm. You can see my notes here on this. So then I'd go to number 2, you know, I am a woman of virtue. Uh-huh. So every week I just kind of did it like this. And I only wrote, I mean, there's not a ton. Like I said, I'm not a great journal writer, but I did do a few things. I think the thing also, what I really enjoyed doing, and sometimes I just put the card right in the middle. Mm-hmm. So I am a woman.
Strong moral character.
Strong moral character. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Strong moral character. So that was a fun way for me. I'm just a visual person. I like visual journals. I like to see them.
Yeah.
I think there's other things you could do if you were kind of into visual journaling. I mean, as you can see, we're going on and on, you know, we're at 17, 18, and there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of how I did when we were in the group. That's how I did it. I brought it out every week. You know, I would sometimes scribble notes on a separate piece of paper so that I could then journal them in a nicer handwriting.
Right.
But the woman of virtue is the one where I think the challenge on this is that the one, Brenda, that talks about making something to do with gold?
Yeah, with gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So create something with gold, journal about it. So I wrote that I was going to spin some yarn and spin some gold into Pat. She's one of my alpacas, but I ended up not doing that. What I ended up doing was something that I'd been thinking of doing for a long time, which is a piece of artwork regarding my mother, but more in a, it was a little bit, and it was abstract. So this is the piece that I did, and what I decided to do, because I like, I'm really influenced by Gustav Klimt. You can see this Gustav Klimt painting, who used gold in his paintings, gold flecks. And so I like to teach a lot with gold in it. So what I did is I just had this represent, this green part was very representative of my mother's earth life and just her mortal journey. And as we get into this part, this is her illness. She had Alzheimer's. And so this is getting into the bad years, the hard years.
Right.
And then this is the part where she just crosses over into the spirit world. And the gold, these are flecks of gold. The gold represents her and the spirit world, and then this huge journey in the afterlife of gold is representational of her.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I love the personal, and I bet as you did that, that was so almost cathartic for you to just be able to have that healing time with your mother and in that space.
It really was. It really was. I used a medium that I like to use, which is a really, it's like a flowing oil medium. And so, but just really think about her and about being a woman of virtue, and that's what she was. And how could I translate that into my own life? And I just keep it here in my house so I can see the artwork. But it could be something so simple. You know, it doesn't need to, nobody needs to, if you're creating artwork, I love to tell people, you don't need to be an artist. You don't need to be this, you know, hyper, you know, artistic and creative person to do something like that. It could be just as simple as, you know, I'm going to wear a little ribbon of gold around my wrist this week, you know, and I'm going to think about how this little bracelet,
scarf, or some gold earrings, but just to bring that into your soul as you bring that in, and that's just that one. I'm a woman of virtue, but those are some of the types of things that we tried to bring together. And I have to tell you also, it's so funny because I do not, or I have not in the past considered myself really an artist. I've been a singer and I've done, you know, some of those kinds of things and stuff, but I've never really been like more of a visual or a draw or paint or any of that kind of stuff. And when I started this project, I wanted it to be a graphical representation. Like I wanted it to be artistic. And I'm like, I'm not a designer. Like I don't even know how to do that. But I mean, there's lots and lots of tools that are available for that. And I think it's one of the reasons that it took me so long to actually get the project off the ground, is because so much of it I had to learn how to do.
Yeah, a lot. Well, yeah, I mean, it's the technological part of it.
Yeah.
That's a little tricky. Yeah, I mean, for me, like I hadn't done Zoom before, but oh my goodness, thankfully, what if I hadn't learned Zoom then
I
all
know.
of a sudden, who knew that we would have Zoom as a huge part of our
How
lives?
much you would need Zoom, right?
Exactly. And suddenly I'm talking to my grown, you know, children, my married daughter, you know, like every week, because like, oh, I've got Zoom and now we can do church Zoom and stuff like that.
Right.
So yay for Zoom and yay for learning technology. But
well,
yeah, I can't. Go ahead. I was just going to say, I can't emphasize enough that the things that we did every week were not like necessarily, and really that was the only one I did that was art related.
Yeah.
There were some that would say, you know, journal this, or one of my most favorite was reach out to someone that you haven't reached out to. You know, the goals that we had during the week, if I wouldn't have had those goals and set those goals, honestly, I'm not kidding. I don't think I would do things, but that just, it propelled me forward. So that was really the only artsy one. But the rest of them are very, just really doable and really simple. And if you don't do it that week, who cares? You don't have to own up to anyone for not doing it.
No, right.
You just, even with your friend group that you're in, no, you know, I like that you would say, okay, did anyone do anything this week that they had kind of committed to do last week? You know, it's like, um, and then a couple of people had, and a couple of people were just, the frankness and the openness of women is so important. Some women would say, you know, I didn't have time. I was overwhelmed. I was stressed. I was dealing with young kids, or I was dealing with my job. You know, I didn't have time to do it, but I thought about it. And so there's no pressure. It's not like you're in this, like, I've got to do it and compete. It is non-competition with women. We get in a point where we tend to compete with each other, and we can't do that anymore. That time is past for us as women. If we cannot join together and be friends without competing, we've all got our gifts. You know, I like to do art. That's what I like to do. I like to create. But I have so many other things that I can't do. I choose not to. It doesn't bring me happiness, doesn't bring me joy. But yet those are things like that you do, Brenda, or that another friend does.
Right.
And then I look to that and I think, I don't feel in competition with that. I feel like, yay, she's got a gift I don't. When you get together with this cluster of women, suddenly you realize, oh my gosh, these gifts that they have, I can learn from them. We cannot compete as women anymore. It's going to be the fall of us. It's going to be our downfall. We can't do it. We've got to stop being jealous of each other, or worrying that worrying that we're not good enough, most important.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's so critical. And I love that you brought that up, because that's exactly what I feel like. If we can come together as women of faith, and really as women of all faiths, and come together in love and unity and care and concern, you know, for each other, and to rejoice in one another's goodness and blessings and talents, and be blessed. You know, I don't paint, but what you did touched me so much, to know that that was, you know, something that was so special to you, and for you to share your experience with that. You know, and so then we learn, and we grow from one another. And I just feel like that really is the embodiment of what I had hoped to do, and even a little bit of the vision. And truly, a lot of this was like, you need to share this. And I'm like, really? Me? I need to share this? Are you sure you don't want to have somebody better at like everything? But it has truly been a joy, and it has been something that has helped me to grow so much, and to really, really become a better mother, a better woman, a better friend, and very much less concerned about that, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing it right.
Exactly.
So,
I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful that you thought of it, that you followed your inspiration, and you were told to do it. You followed that. You did it. It's amazing, because it's been a ton of work for you, to create the beta group, to get people to latch onto it, and now to just keep going with it. It's because you know, you listen to that, Brenda, and I that's so admirable, and I want to be more like that. And that, to me, you know, the overarching theme of the whole thing was, oh my gosh, you know, I have a friend that was told in her mind to through inspiration to do something, and she did it. So it's like she was scared, but she did it. And so there are scary things that we're told to do, and sometimes it's just really hard to do it. So it's been a big inspiration.
Thank you so much, and thanks for joining me today and sharing with us. Watch for more stuff. The downloadable affirmations are not available on the website yet. I'm just working with the technology. Like, I have to learn that whole part too.
Yeah.
I know you keep hearing my dog, so I'll just mention that she's here giving all her love.
And mine too, and all the other animals.
Right. And everybody. And also, I wanted to share just really quickly, because I love that you had the journal, and we had the idea that I wanted to have a journal with this too.
Yeah.
And one of the girls can you see that?
Uh-huh.
One of the girls in our group actually made this for me. She is, isn't that beautiful? So we will have, you can download, you'll be able to download. Let me see if I can, there's the pages too, that they're just, so you can journal on that. But I'm going to have her do one more with the blank, because I'm so inspired by what you did on yours with no lines. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are
Yeah.
not line kind of people.
Right. The visual journaling is kind of all the rage right now. And like I said, you don't have to be an artist to do it.
Yeah, no, very, very
Throw it
powerful.
out there.
So you'll be able to, anyone can download those. They're part of the program as soon as I figure out how to make stuff downloadable on my website.
Crossing our fingers.
I know, right? It's all very good. Well, thank you so much for spending a few
Oh gosh.
today, Linda, and for
Yeah.
helping me share this project with the world. Or
Yeah.
in the
Thanks for
world.
I'm so appreciative of everything you've done and for bringing it to us as women. It's hugely important, and I hope that people can latch onto it and just go with it. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Brenda.
Bye-bye.
See ya.